Thanks, Owsley, and great job. And this is really exciting. I know for a lot of people to see all this coming together. It's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us. And a little background. When I took office a couple of years ago, I was trying to think when I spoke to the city for the first time as mayor, what should I talk about? And there were three things that I said should be important and we'll mention every day in the city. And one was to be a city of lifelong learning, because that produces great jobs and opportunities and a curious population. Is something where good things are going to happen from. And the second one was to be a healthy city, not just physical health, but mental health, social health, how we all get along, environmental health, how we take care of the earth, and then spiritual health as well. And then the third was how can we be an even more compassionate city? And that's the one where people were, kind of scratching their heads by, because, you're supposed to be a tough politician. You're not supposed to talk about compassion. You're not supposed to talk about love, that type of thing. But really, when you think about a community and what people should be doing, one of the fundamental responsibilities that we all have is to be helping each other and taking care of each other, and that should just be part of the daily life of a city. And I must say, it's that note on compassion that people have really responded to the most, not just here locally, but around the country and around the world as well. So it's really a delight for us to be able to put the spotlight on our city for these 6 days, 7 days in May coming up, and kind of share what we've learned and also bring other people to town so that we can learn from them. And two influences on the compassion theme. One is Thomas Merton from the Abbey of Gethsemane. The other is Christy Brown. I'm going to throw you in there with Thomas Merton now, Christy. Because I was talking to her about the word. What should be that third word I was looking for in terms of people looking after each other and caring for each other. And so we had a bunch of words floating around. And then, Christy said, it's compassion. It's compassion. So I said, that's it. So there are you and Thomas. We'll put you right next to Thomas Merton out there. And I know you'd be smiling too. So there's some background on that. And then, that led to us kind of tongue-in-cheek proclaiming a few things and saying compassion. How do you demonstrate compassion? A lot of people talk about it. The actions we've done through service work in the community and the Give a Day week that we developed, and 90,000 volunteers, and school, JCPS, just jumped up in a big way on that. So then, I proclaimed, as mayors are wont to do, that we're the most compassionate city on the globe, and everybody took it very seriously. And, when you proclaim things as mayor, people just kind of roll with it. So, and that led to a bunch of different recognition that we received. And so, part of being a leader in any organization, right, is to set aspirational goals for people to reach and live toward and act toward. And we never reach these goals, right? I don't want to act like, this is a football game and we've crossed the goal line and say, okay, we're the most compassionate city, that's done, let's now move on to the next thing. It doesn't work that way. But it's something that we aspire to do. It's central in all the faiths that are in our country as well. So this is not a Buddhist thing or a Christian thing or a Jewish or Hindu, Muslim. It's all of us, right? And so I think that's why it really resonates with people so much. And from my perspective, it's good for the city. It's great for our city to be known as a place that's compassionate and helpful and thinks about things like that. How can that be bad? And certainly we want to see more of that around the world. And so we were hoping when we started Give a Day and talking about compassion that we would ignite this brush fire of compassion around the country, and in fact we have. So whether it be Seattle, who was offended by our proclamation of the most compassionate city and did their own thing for a month several months ago, or just most recently, Mayor Steve Benjamin in Columbia, South Carolina, is a friend of mine. They announced their whole Give a Day week of community service as well, and cited us as an example of a city mobilizing for good. And there'll be other cities as good. So it's been great. So we're making solid progress on 3 goals, but like I said, it's never going to be done. We're going to always keep going. And many of you all in this room have been responsible for helping fan the flames of the brush fire. So I want to thank you all very much as we prepare for the visit by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And when we first heard that he was coming, I just really felt it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to use that as a catalytic moment to bring what's going to be tens of thousands of people together in our community for discussion, dialogue, action that will result in a lot of good things. I don't know what they are right now, but I know it will occur. Anytime you pursue a noble goal, whether it be in business or in the arts or in religion, as long as you stay to that path, you may not end up at your original intended goal, but good things are going to happen. The good things coming out of this also are amplified by the partnership between the Center for Interfaith Relations and DGI. It's been beautiful to see the way that those groups have come together, as they should, but there's been no ego, and it's just, okay, how can we maximize this event for the most good for the most people? And I gotta tell you, I wish that's how everybody I worked with operated, but that's not necessarily the case. Then we said, okay, let's address this challenge. How can we develop events and opportunities and programs to create a week-long event? So, the other hat I have to put on is the economic development hat, right? So, it's like, this is really good for spirituality and compassion, but we could also have, thousands and thousands of people visiting our city and supporting our restaurants and our hotels and showcasing our city. Some of them hopefully will say, hey, this is a good place to live or start a business at the same time. So there's that aspect of what's going on. And the Convention Visitors Bureau is a partner in this week with us as well. So it's wonderful the way everybody's responded. Owsley and Turner, y'all will recall. To me, it was just like, hey, can we do a Festival of Faith to run up to the visit by the Dalai Lama? And you guys were like, sure, let's give it a shot. So it's good to be entrepreneurial. And there was actually absolutely no, we do our festival in November, and we've always done it in November, and, it's written in stone. So I appreciate you guys coming together and doing this in May, and everybody here from the Center for Interfaith Relations. So I think it's just a great fit here with the global icon for peace, justice, compassion, the Dalai Lama coming to our city right after the Festival of Faiths. Muhammad Ali, who of course is one of our famous sons here, has expressed a desire, and UN Messenger of Peace as well has expressed a strong desire to be here, his health willing. So there'll be a lot of excitement and inspiration in our city during that week. And it's something I want to just reflect on a little bit. The Festival of Faiths, 18 years has been going about this work, building an international reputation now for interfaith dialogue. And as I talk to other mayors around the country, and I talk about the Festival of Faiths, I gotta say, most mayors don't really even understand what it is. About this concept of bringing all of our world's religions and our city's religions together to explore the, many faiths, one heart that we express in our city. So they're intrigued by it, but they don't understand it. And so it really makes me understand that, we're really ahead of the curve here. And I wish everybody was on the curve, but we have something really unique going on here. And I know we've got a lot of the original festival folks here in the room. And I just want to say the leadership that you guys have shown going back almost 2 decades now, it really is leading to moments like what we have right now. I don't know if DGI would have located here if it were not for the festival and, the spirit that embodied. They might, but I know it helped a lot when they were considering locating in our city. And ultimately, that's why the Dalai Lama is coming here to consecrate DGI. And the city's obviously happy to go along for the ride. So lots of good things going on. Also, I'm putting together a panel on 3 o'clock on Friday or Saturday. Might be a little bit later, we're not sure yet, where I'll be inviting some government leaders from around the country to come and talk about compassionate governing and what are some models for that. It's a very skeptical age that we live in, especially toward federal and state governments in terms of, why do they exist? Are they really doing good? Is it just about people being reelected all the time? But, how do we take this collective responsibility that we all have that comes to life through government and turn that into something that inspires us and provides hope and provides an avenue for people to say, hey, it's my turn to serve, because you're inspired by doing something good. So I hope to create a panel of people that are doing that around the country, so we can put the spotlight on some people that are doing some good things. And then the last thing, I want to put a plug in for our Give a Day week of service. That's April 13th to the 21st. This will be our second week. Superintendent Hargens is here. It's already been noted. And they've stepped up again to say that they will participate in a big way in the Give a Day week of service. Also, JCPS has also signed the Charter for Compassion, and each of their schools are going through a process now of what that means toward them, which we haven't talked about it in depth, but when you talk about, reducing bullying, social justice work, service work, there's so much that can be learned from that. And, so you are now a national leader for doing that, Superintendent Hargens, and I want to publicly thank you again for that. So good job. So go to mygiveaday.com for more information. You recall we're looking for people both to register events where they need volunteers, and then of course volunteers to come and register at that site again. So thanks and congratulations to everybody for a week that's lining up to be one of the best weeks in our city's history. Thank you.